Hi, I'm Julian Grimm. It's daytime and I hate it. Today, we're gonna talk about designing your own drum samples. Now, drum samples, that's a bad word in the rock industry, right? Some conservative guys like to look down on drum samples. I call it the "we used to record on tape" syndrome. Anyways, it's 2020. Not everybody has access to a drummer or a nice drum room. And sometimes you just wanna make music and you wanna make it now. So you gotta use what you can use. And we have this limitless library of things on the internet. And we can use it in our favor to create our own drum samples, completely original, because there are many advantages of working in the analog domain. Of course, the sound, how cool it is, how cool it looks, but working in the digital domain, it's so limitless, guys. Don't be afraid to use the power of your DAW, your computer, to make things that nobody has ever done before. And that's what you can do when you're designing your own drum samples. Your mind is the limit. You can combine any drum that you want together to create your own samples and really make music in a way that nobody has ever done before. So that's why I defend not approaching any of these techniques with a preconception in your mind. Approach everything with your mind open so you can allow yourself to do really new things and experiment and have fun. So today I'm gonna show you the very first step into designing your own drum samples. And it's very easy. All you're gonna use are the fade-ins and fade-outs in your DAW. So let's start. I like to divide my drum sounds in 3 different pieces. I call the first one attack, the other one body, and the other one room. So the attack is just the very first hit of the stick in the drum. The very first attack of the sound. The body is what comes right after. It's just that little bit of sustain that has more of the character of your drum. So if it's a bigger drum, it's thicker. If it's a smaller drum, it's a little bit thinner. And if it's a ringy drum, it has ring to it. So many different possibilities. And the room is the sound of the drum reverberating in the room that it's been recorded. By dividing your drum sound into these 3 different pieces, just imagine that you can combine each part of these sounds, each part of these pieces from different drum samples that you find online or that you record. Just imagine how crazy this can get. You can get the attack of a very, very little drum that has very sharp attack. You can combine it with the body of a huge drum that has a very thick, powerful body. And you can combine that with the room of some drum piece recorded in Abbey Road Studios, for example. The chances that you're gonna record at Abbey Road Studios are quite slim, but you can still get a sample that was recorded in that studio and use the room of that sample and put it into your sound. The famous Abbey Road room sound in your sample. It's so cool. You can get really crazy. So let's do this. I'll show you now. As you can see, I have a little drum part here that I designed. Very simple. I recorded some guitars and bass as well, just so it has a little bit more context. Let's just see how this sounds. So as I said before, I divided my drum sample into 2 different pieces. I have the attack, the body, and the room. For the attack, I chose a very snappy snare, like a small sounding snare that has a very quick and sharp attack. This is how it sounds on its own. For the body, I chose a thicker and bigger sounding snare. And for the room, I just chose a very, very roomy sample that I found on Splice. It has loads of tail. You can really hear the reverberation of that room in that sample. So what you gotta do now is think about what you need on each sound. So for the attack, obviously you need the very first piece, the attack. So you can cut all this and fade out. So you need the very first attack right here. It's there, and you don't need any of the rest of the sample. That's all you need. So for the room sample, all you need is this last section here, the actual room reverberating. You don't need any of the attack. So what you can do is just fade in the sample. So you can let this attack shine, and then the room takes over in the end. So this is just the room, and now combined with the attack from the other drum. So you have both working together to make one new sound. So lastly, we have the body sample. You don't want the attack of the sample to interfere with this attack. And you don't need the room of the sample as well. None of the reverberation of the sample. So you can cut all of this out as well and leave just the little sustained bit. You see, you can actually see in your sample, this section right here, drum reverberating in itself. It's not the drum reverberating in the room. And you can fade out so it doesn't interfere with the other room. This is how it sounds on its own. And this is how it sounds with everything together. So that's pretty cool. You have now a snare that's only yours. You're the only one that came up with this combination. So it's gonna be a unique snare. Even though you're using samples, you're not gonna sound like everybody else because you made your own sample and that sound is all yours, just like my heart. So I also did that with the kick. So as you can see here, with the kick, I also divide the sample in 3 pieces, but I like to call the body sub just because it's how most people call it. It is really the lowest frequency of the drum that you want usually for the kick. So it's the sub. It's the very, very lowest frequency that drum can resonate. The attack, I chose a snappy kick right here. Again, you cut all the things you don't need and you leave only the attack. For the room, I chose a big roomy sound, so here it is. Again, you don't need the attack at all. You just need a room, but still fade out your room so it doesn't click in the end. It doesn't go away out of thin air. And for the sub, I chose a very subby sample. Literally. And again, you don't need the attack. And you don't need none of this crap in the end here. You just need the little sustain right there. This is how it sounds all together. You see, you have the sound combining into something more powerful and more unique. It's very cool. And it's also cool because you can visually see how a drum sound works. You have the attack coming in, then the sub or the body takes over, and then the room takes over. It's a very cool way of looking at drums. This is how it sounds in a mix, all together. So as you can hear, the drums sound powerful, they sound roomy, and they sound all yours. So you can be sure that these drums are only gonna exist in your song. So this is really only the tip of the iceberg when it comes to designing drums. You can go so crazy with this. You can record your own sounds, you can use claps, you can use bangs, you can use slams, you can use analog synths, whatever tips your flips, or whatever claps your flaps, you know? It's up to you. Whatever makes you feel nice and sexy. But please let me know in the comments below how you want me to approach the next video, because I have so many ideas in my mind. Recording my own samples with the drum designing in mind already. So I record maybe a room that I like somewhere, combine it with a snare that I like somewhere else. Also, I can go into how to design the drums with the EQs, compressors, reverbs. So let me know in the comments below. Please talk to me. I'm alone and I really need your company. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what I do, press all the things that help me, and I see you guys next time. Bye.